Good afternoon to you all. A warm welcome to you all for this AICTE ISTE sponsored induction bar refresher program on training on pilot plant scale-up techniques organized by Gabriel Hanamaya Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences. So on the behalf of management, principals, staff and students, we cordially welcome you to this scientific session. Now I take the privilege of introducing the honorable speaker of this session, Professor R. Nagaraju sir. So my guru and my teacher. So I'm very much happy to associate with you, sir. Professor Nagaraju sir has obtained his B.Pharm, M.Pharm and PhD from College of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Manipal. And Nagaraju sir has started his career as a lecturer in the Visvesvaraya Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences in the year 1986. And he joined as a professor in the Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Sri Padmavati Mahila Viswavidyalayam in the year 2004. And till today, he is serving as a professor and also Dean CDC in the Padmavati Mahila University. And Sir has received so many honors and prestigious awards like Best Pharmacy Teacher Award from Association of Pharmaceutical Teachers of India and a National Best Teacher Award and State Best Teacher Award from Government of Andhra Pradesh and also National Level Pharmacist Award in the year 2017 and the Pharmaceutical Scientist Year of the Award in 2017 by Andhra Pradesh Council of Science and Technology. And he's also recipient of Distinguished Alumni Award from Manipal College of Pharmaceutical Sciences. And Sir has published more than 73 research papers in reputed national and international journals. And he has guided 43 M.Pharm students and 10 PhD students. Currently, 8 research scholars are pursuing their PhD under the SAR guidance. And he also received almost 237 lakhs grants from various statutory bodies like DST, UGC, and AICTE. And he's also serving as editorial board members for so many reputed journals. And he also held so many administrative positions in Sri Padmavati Mahila University, like Dean Development Council, head of the department, Director, Center of our University Ranking, and Director for Directorate of Distance Education. Currently, he is serving as a Dean CDC in Padmavati Mahila University. So with this brief introduction, so I cordially invite Sri Nagaraju sir for his session. And now I'm going to hand over the session to Nagaraju sir to deliver his talk.
Thank you, Dr. Shashi.
Sir, thank you,
sir.
Let
me start the share screen option now.
Yes, sir.
Right. Visible?
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Yeah, right. Thank you. At the outset, it is my great privilege to be associated with this prestigious program of refresher course, which has been sponsored by AICTE and ISTE on a topic, a fully industrial topic, where the young teachers are supposed to have some basic idea of it. When I saw the list of the speakers, they have selected the speakers across the teaching and industry, where they are going to share the experiences with this pilot plant scale up. So in this session, I made to understand that there are the participants across the 12 states of India. So this is the power of in the morning. I was there in the inauguration session. Colonel Venkat was, and our beloved friend, IPA President, Dr. T.V. Narayana was mentioning the power of the technology. But all the time, we should not depend on the technology. But anyway, this is one of the important platform where sitting in Tirupati, I can talk to people across the whole world. That is really a great facility. And where for this, the teachers, we have adopted very easily for this technology. And we are the first pharmacy teachers adopted this technology. And I'm proud to say, we are in the front line, Mahila University, pharmacy department, the whole total university, all the staff, even we conducted the classes even on summer during the lockdown period. Anyway, so the country is becoming normal, but the challenges are still ahead for us. And the learning and teaching should not stop because the moment it has to go, the world has to move. So there is a right direction where the training of the teachers is very, very important. And therefore, this program is conceived. Hence, I like to speak a very basic point. That's why I requested Professor Vidyadhar to put me in the first thing. So where I am going to launch, the launching, as in the morning Venkat sir was telling, the launching speech by the two eminent people were really very good impact. So therefore, I just try to touch upon the basic things in the pilot plan, the basic principles. Probably some senior teachers, if it may be a repetition for you, please excuse me for this. My point of view here is I want to give a good set induction for this program, for 1 week program. And sometimes we might have forgotten the fundamentals, and this is an attempt to refresh you. That's why it is called as a refresh course. So, the basic objective of this particular session for me is introduce to you the various fundamental aspects which are going to be occupy the prominent importance in the pilot plan scale-up techniques. And this is my university's entrance arch, and where Dr. Shashidhar already mentioned, and it is a women's university. And for the benefit of the people who are not knowing about this, I have put this particular slide. And this university, we have 27 and odd courses, and one among the courses, the 5-star courses, needless to say, the pharmacy. So pharmacy course as a pharmacy college has been received. This is the 25th year of its existence of in this university. And this 26th fifth year, Silver Jubilee, we are celebrating. And the pharmacy college in Mahila University, in Women's University, Padmavat University, occupied a distinct position in the map of India. We have received last year NIRF ranking, 42nd rank in the state of, their national ranking, and a second in the state of Andhra Pradesh after Andhra University. So this year we are expecting we wanted to retain the same rank, but at least not going below. Because of the pandemic, our research is slow, our publications are slow, grants are not released. All these are going to be reflected in NIRF. Anyway, with this brief introduction, let me jump into my particular topic, which is assigned to me, which I have been chosen to take. I am going to talk to you in this session about the introduction aspect of it, and what are the objectives where the pilot plant and scale-up is there, and what are the specific reasons and their significance, and what are the salient features in the pilot plant design, and of course the operation and the conclusion, and the what are the basic references, what it is going to be. So as I said, this may be a simple, as I said in the beginning of my talk itself, I'll start from the scratch for the understanding part of you. Right. There are a few terminologies where we are always supposed to remember. Those terminologies include, it's been listed in this slide. Number 1 is a plant, and number 2 is a pilot plant, and number 3 is the scale up. So what is the meaning of all this in with reference to, sorry, with reference to pilot plant? Sorry. Yeah. So the plant means it is a place where 5 M's like money, material, man, method, and machine are brought together for manufacturing of the products, manufacturing of the pharmaceutical products. Then what is pilot plant? Pilot plant is a lab scale formula where the lab scale formula is transformed into a viable product. So we do the lab scale product, and that need to be transformed into a viable product before going to the actual production. So that is a place, it is called as the pilot plant, which basically involve in development of a practical procedure, how we need to go step by step in the large scale manufacturing. That's why it comes between the R&D and the production. That is the pilot plant. That is what it is going to be. Scale up is going to be the art of designing the prototype using the data obtained from the pilot plant model. The scale up is we are doing in the laboratory scale in few milligrams and few grams level. In a pilot scale, few grams and hundreds of grams. And in the scale, the production scale, we are going for the actual production. So the scale up is going to be very, very important. Do the subsequent talks of, subsequently, I'll be explaining to you why the scale up is so important and what is the implications of this. So of course, this is again a pictorial diagram. I thought it to be appealing. That's why I use this animation. And R&D goes to the pilot scale and then to the lab scale and going to this direction. So let us see what is this pilot scale and scale up mean. The pilot scale and the scale up mean two different things, which is going to be usually we use pilot plant and scale up techniques. The pilot scale, I just now mentioned, it is an intermediate batch scale. This is the stage where we see we are going to manufacture the product, a procedure fully adopted by the, which is similar to that of the manufacturing scale. Say, for example, in the manufacturing of a tablet, if you want to, in the production, you have a dryer, say a spray dryer is there for granulation and other things. We should have there in the manufacturing area, the spray dryer or what sort of dryer you are going to use. It is going to be huge and meet the needs of the manufacturing scale. Whereas in the pilot scale, we need to have the same dryer in the low production quantum which is going to be handled. You should remember that you should not use in the pilot scale a dryer which is going to work in a different principle than that of the what do you call production. Whatsoever the production equipment which are being used should have in the lower quantity, you should be able to handle in the pilot scale working on the same principle. So that is very, very important. We should have a replica of the production unit in the pilot scale, but it is going to be a small quantities because we need to optimize the procedure and bring out the viable working formula. So the scale comes to the next to the pilot scale. Once you are successfully transforming the laboratory procedure, laboratory to the successfully manufacturing scale in the pilot scale, then we will try to go in the scaling up. So why scaling up? The scaling up is very important. Sometimes there are some critical attributes of the parameters may change when you scale up. So for example, in a laboratory, we do mixing water and pressure. In the pilot scale, we do an instrument, for example, any granulator or any emulsifier, what we are going to use with a small quantity. But in the production scale, we cannot use the same one. We have to use the bigger ones, and these things should not affect the quality of the product. So the output of the product should not be changed by scaling up. So it is a cooking. When you say cooking of a family is different, and cooking in a bigger crowd for 1,000, 100,000, 2,000 for marriages are different. So we cannot use the same technology, the product which you have been making in the pilot scale, the laboratory scale, transform the pilot scale and going to the scale up. The critical attributes should not change. So that is what the scale up we are going to do. The process of increasing the batch size in such a way that we are not going to affect the output volumes. So the question comes, what is this pilot scale you are going to? So it is going to be the bench studies to start with. What we did in the bench studies is where we see the product characterization, product development, and so on, checking all the parameters, including the purity at the laboratory scale. That was the first thing. And we had to see that the increase in the compliance with the regulations as the product moves through testing and evaluation. It is going to be when any product has to be successful, has to be successfully made in the industrial level, should have to follow the regulations and the compliance for both testing and evaluation. So in pilot scale, we are verifying all those things and see whether the product is imbibing the qualities what is being required by regulating authorities. And this pilot scale also has give the knowledge about any problems you are going to face during the transforming the larger scale and any snacks or any pitfalls in including processing, packing, and storing of the product. So therefore, it is very important to study. That's what it is. A pilot study is going to be before the actual manufacturing. We are going to do it. So therefore, ultimately, it facilitates the transfer from the product from the laboratory scale to the manufacturing process. So further thing is very important that the scale up is going to be very essential in necessary to determine the effect of the scale on the product quality. Just now I was mentioning when the quantity is being made at a small level, the quality control and evaluation is not that difficult. When it is produced at the larger level, because of the scaling up, because of the processes may change, the product may have an effect on the by making the larger scale. Sometimes we may see the product even fail the quality assurance tests. So therefore, a perfect laboratory in the product, it has to be master perfect in the pilot plant and with a well-defined process. So therefore, it is the success of the final product depends on the both the pilot plant designing as well as the scaling up techniques what you are going to use. So finally, the scale up is required to determine the effect of the scale of the product quality. So the effect of the scale, what is the scaling here is transforming to smaller quantities to the larger quantities. Larger quantities from the laboratory to the pilot scale, to the manufacturing scale. So what should be the product quality when you transform this into a larger scale, whether they are retaining or not retaining. So that need to be established. So with this, the pilot plant have a specific objectives which you are seeing in this particular slide, where the first and foremost important is it is going to be physically, chemically stable product should come out a therapeutic dosage form. So and we also has to have the review of the processing equipment. It is very, very important. So whatsoever, instead of trying on the large scale, the master formula design, people always use the pilot scale or the master formula design. That's why in the beginning of my talk, I said the pilot plant should have the same equipment which has been used with the same principle, the equipment working on the same principle as that of the manufacturing unit. So, but the quantities are going to be less. So we are going to experiment in a smaller scale with the same equipment and see whether this particular equipment is suitable in manufacturing the thing in a larger scale. Whether are we able to follow the guidelines of production and process control. So that adherence to this also will be verified at the pilot scale. And of course, the evaluation and validation part need to be taken care. And the most important thing, probably this should have come first, to identify the critical features of the process. So in the laboratory scale, we will not be able to think about the various aspects. Our aim is going to develop a product, keeping aside the cost, keeping aside the time, everything. Whereas in the transform into the larger scale, the manufacturing scale, we need to examine the process features. So whether it is going to be useful, whether it is going to be transformable from a smaller scale to the larger scale, how it is. So in this connection, I just wanted to give you one example, especially the preparation of transdermal preparations. The transdermal preparations in the laboratory works wonders. I have so many students working on the who have worked on the transdermal area where we produce good articles. But over a period of time, I have left this area because there is a very bleak future for this, especially in the Indian context. So the Indian context, there are very, very few transdermal preparations for daily use of the people. The major challenge here is to quantify, to scale up to the larger scale, what is going to be done. Whereas in other countries, they are able to do it, and we have the very patches are there. But here, that is not become very, very common because the scaling up is going to be a little difficult in this. So therefore, at the end of the day, you should get a master manufacturing formula. This is a master manufacturing formula, is something where we have got a stepwise manufacturing procedure where the people in the production unit just follows that without having any what I should say modifications. So that is the foremost I should say final outcome of this. So and we should have to have any production development going for a new product. We have to have a very good pilot plant building for transfer laboratory to the production scale. And many a times nowadays, the industries are hiring the services of the people who are doing this particular work. They may not have their own pilot plant unit. They outsource it and give the money and get the services, and the contract will be developing concept to that of the what I should say pilot plant. Then manufacturing unit, they should run 1 or 2 batches successfully. That will be the agreement. So usually the pilot plant, there are so many units have come in India, and where they are successfully working on this transforming the laboratory product to that of the manufacturing. So what is going to be the important reasons where we need to go ahead with the pilot plant? And if I am very fast, please tell me. I'll go a little slowly. Is it okay? Any participant or organizer? Yeah, I think everybody is busy in listening. Fine. Okay, I hope if I had to slow down, please send me a message. I'll slow down. Right. So the reasons are going to be many. I have tried to list a few reasons here where we have to have a good effective pilot pilot plant study, where pilot plant department, where to evaluate the process of a large change in scale of operation. So this is what from the thing I am talking to you about. We are going to verify the product, how it behaves at a larger scale when they manufacture. We can't afford to do the directly on the manufacturing scale, because so much of material, so much of time, so much of facility will be used, and it will be very expensive. So if people don't use in the directly manufacturing, once it is proven, optimized in the pilot plant department, then only that master formula will be transferred. Otherwise, they will not do it. And we also try to examine the all byproducts that they waste. So this is very important nowadays to comply with the standards of the management byproducts. In the smaller scale, we don't try to give a lot of attention in the laboratory scale about. So, for example, we try to extract some plant using organic solvents. So that be very few, maybe 500 ml, 200 ml, 300 ml, and we don't really we don't really give attention to recycle the organic solvents. We are not supposed to leave the organic solvents in the atmosphere, because it is going to affect the environment. But where that is allowed, few things is allowed in the laboratory scale in the colleges and all. Whereas in the larger scale, if you are going to release the what I should say tons of this organic solvent, that is not allowed. So that is what in a smaller scale which is allowed are not allowed in the larger scale. So therefore, we need to examine all these bring out a roadmap how this particular mechanism of the processing is going to be handled. That is done in the pilot scale. And then we need to produce a trial with a lot of quantities of the materials can be avoided. So we need to optimize here what is going to be the best concentration, what is not going to be the formulation, and what should be the parameters you want to have in the product, and how the composition and the concentrations has to be fixed. All those things will be done in the pilot plant. That's why you require to have a good pilot plant. Either you should have, or you can outsource the services from the people who are doing it. And we also see the clinical studies and analytical development, process development, stability testing. All these are going to be important steps where we need to clearly define and establish in the pilot department. don't know. Slide is not moving. Yeah. So the pilot plant occupies a very significant position in the development or manufacturing of a new product, especially. So where we need to examine the formulae, whereas formulae developed in this and propose the best formulation for the which is going to go into the manufacturing, final manufacturing, and it is going to be review the range of relevant processing equipments. Here, what I want to focus is here. If for a particular process, we may be having different types of equipment, right? So amongst this equipment available, we may have to choose the suitable equipment which is going to reflect the manufacturing unit, and in terms of the ease of handling, in terms of the economy, in terms of the repairs and all such things. We need to pilot plan will suggest what type of the equipment you require in the manufacturing and in larger scale, which is going to be economical and viable. And we also should, this pilot plant, we will be able to suggest come out where how the production rate can be handled and how the adjustment can be done by using the knowledge which you have developed and to meet the requirements of the production. As you see, till recently, all the pharma companies are focusing on manufacturing COVID-related products, and thank God, and they have a policy of all the companies 6 months to 1 year stock they will have on all essential drugs, anti-diabetic and antihypertensive and all such drugs which are very essential. That's why we are not got the shortage of any essential drugs even in the COVID time. They are concentrating on the preparation of the COVID time. Recently, I read in some of the news items. Now the companies are also started replenishing the stock of the new items. I mean, the essential items and reducing the cost of the COVID. I mean, reducing the production of the COVID items. So what is here the pilot scale? What I wanted you to make it a note is what should be the production rate adjustment, how it is going to be feasible, and what is the minimum load, and what is the maximum load, and what is the minimum time required for a particular machine to work. What is going to be the maximum shifts you can use that. All that things you are going to propose, going to be obtained and standardized in the pilot plant. And it also gives you the pilot plant will also gives this idea about how much of the physical space you require to manufacturing in a larger scale. So this will be clearly worked out so that company will have what should be the space required for manufacturing this product. And here I am talking about a new product. If at all already the product, already the site is ready, then the pilot plant will focus on to suit the production unit what they already have, what is the best formula, what is going to be used, and appropriate records and reports to support the GMP. It's very important now. GMP regulations, comply with GMP regulations, otherwise the products will not be moved into the market. And majority, there are quite a few number of companies in India where they are manufacturing mainly focusing on the export-oriented products. So in that case, the FDA as well as CGMP sticking to the regulations are going to be very, very important. The most and very important feature in this is identification of critical features to maintain the quality. So this is very, very important. So you, as many of you are teachers, you know very well when we are making an emulsion in first dispensing lab in the dry gum method, whatsoever it is. What is the critical feature we tell the students here? We tell the students in the in preparation of the dry gum, especially the dry gum method emulsion, we should not triturate the gum so hard for longer period of time in the oil and add at once the whole water as calculated from the primary emulsion, and then stir vigorously. This is a critical feature, and if the students does not follow that, they will not get the emulsion at the end of the day. Whereas in the wet gum, we need to see that the gum is totally dispersed in the water as per the calculation of the primary emulsion, and we should incorporate the oil slowly till the stirring the motor till the cracking sound is obtained. Just I am giving this example because very simple. because all of us are teachers, probably. This is what you can translate into the industrial level. What is going to be the critical features to maintain the quality? So therefore, that need to be identified first. So that need to be focused first and give especially emphasis on that, and where this is being done in the pilot plant department. So then I just summed up the objectives of the scaling up. Why you need to scale up? We need to scale up. It's five headings it is required. It's been summed up here: formulation related, equipment related, production and process related, and product related, and documentation related. So the scale up technique is focused in these five important angles in the industry. I don't want to go into details of it. I just mentioned. I just briefly give a bird's eye view on one of it, so that remaining things you can develop. So the scale up technique, if at all we need to focus on formulation related, we should, just now I mentioned, identification and control of critical components and other variables. This is very, very important. Just now I mentioned. Okay, I'll take up another one, equipment related. The scale up technique will propose what type of equipment is required for controlling of the critical parameters, and what is the operating ranges. So this we cannot experiment in the manufacturing area. The pilot scale, we all set all these parameters and go ahead. Okay, further, production and process related. In the production and process related, to the scale up department, they propose the method for evaluation, more important, the validation, and of course, in the final formula, finalization of the controls. What control you need to put, and what is the range of things where you need to put up your controls. So to the elite audience of this, teachers, I need not go into the details of this. Probably all of you can pick up with this explanation. And with respect to product related, development and validation of the reprocessing of procedures. So this is what the scale up will focus. And of course, nowadays, the documentation is very important. Even the teachers, we are involved in a lot of documentation of the work, where we see the records and reports according to the CGMP has been properly maintained or not, and what type of records we need to maintain. So all these things are what I should say are being developed in the scale up the pilot scale and proposed to the manufacturing scale. So I was just talking to you about the formula management, examination of the formula. So what parameters we need to look into in the formula? Whether what is the ability of the, I am starting the round from the left side, ability of the formulation products to withstand the batch scale. So that is very, very, that's what I was telling in previous occasions also. In a small scale, it is all right. It is working out fantastic. In the pilot scale, it is doing wonders. But in the actual manufacturing scale, it is not going to. That was what I should say, the unsuccessful story of liposomes also. In the laboratory, I have also few PhD students and MPharm students successfully demonstrated the use of liposomes and neosomes for various novel regulatory systems. But however, the liposomes and neosomes cannot be with difficulty in going for the what they call difficult for the storage and other things. So that was the important one, where we need to, that is the meaning of ability to withstand the batch scale, and how it is going to be behaving with the process modification, and whether the formulation is going to be compatible with the equipment what you have used, and what is actually the market requirement, and what is the physical space required, and what is the specification, the raw materials and other things. And here I'm coming to the last one. What is the cost factor? So in a country like India, most of it, the success of the formulation depends on the cost of the final product. So people are not ready, owing to poverty, owing to the ignorance, or whatsoever it is going to be, are not going to be mainly the economical position of our people. Majority of the people, the expensive product, expensive medicines are not accepted very well, very easily. So therefore, we need to give. We are very proud to be a pharmacist, especially industry pharmacist, where for a less than a cup of coffee in a good hotel, we are going to get a tablet. Yes, especially say for example, very essential one, paracetamol. So less than a cup of coffee, it is still priced at very low cost. So that is the beauty of the pharma industry to support of people's health. And then so the scale up. So I'm sorry, it is not moving. I am put some animation anyway, no issue. The scale up also addresses what is going to be the adequate process that need to be adequate steps that need to be given to monitor the process to provide the assurance that the product is going to control, and for the maintenance of the product the facilities where it is going to be. Uh, yeah, let us now come to the next important one, that is yeah, pilot plant design. What is the salient features in the pilot plant design? As I have mentioned in the first of introductory talk itself, I am going to only focus on the fundamental aspects, so which will become a good induction, set induction for subsequent listening to the thing. So the pilot plant design should focus on the formulation and process development, come out with the formula which is ready to manufacture, and critical supply and manufacturing of the product, technology evaluation, whatever technology has been used, whether that need to be uh, translated here, which is going to be adopted to the scale up and transferred to the manufacturing unit. So the attributes required for this are going to be, I just read out only emphasis on the which is being read in the printed in the, I mean, typed the blue ones. So remaining thing is all you know very well. I just add upon here equipment at multiple scale based on similarly operating principles to those in production. So this is what the whole heart of the pilot plant design. We need to have an equipment which need to be able to operate at this multiple scale base level quantities which are very less compared to manufacturing, but similarly operating principles to those in the production. So that's why we call it as intermediate sized and full scale equipment, which is not we pilot scale or not full scale equipment. We are intermediate size. We are going to, yeah, quickly. It should have the CGMP compliance, give flexible, highly trained staff. We should have portable equipment where it cannot be, what I should say, limitation, the things is not be there. And you should have multiple rooms, and we should design in such a way that as the same processes of restricted area, regulated personnel and material flow, and low maintenance and operating cost. So these are some attributes we look into. And then what are the salient features in the pilot plant operation? So the operational aspects will cover basically the validation, followed by training, then engineering support, maintenance of the calibration, material control, inventory and orders labeling, process and manufacturing activities, quality assurance and quality control. So the operational aspects is focused on all these parameters where we need to validate this and give out a what do you call a final formula based on this. Let us see what are the salient features in the validation. As I just now mentioning to you, most of you are aware of this, and as a teachers, but anyway, I will not go into detail of all this. I may only end up telling you the headings, what is been here, and the validation need to be the design specifications, installation qualification, operational qualification, performance qualification, and whether all these things are compliance with CGP and FDA standards. I don't think any explanation is required in this. In case it is required, once we have a short time at the end of the talk, I may come back in case it is required. Then the training part. So the training is required about the what should be the how the product need to be compliant with the good manufacturing practices. What should be the norms of the safety and environmental responsibility, and how is the stuff, what do you call standard operating procedures, how we are going to comply with, and what are the technical skills and the knowledge. So these are all the four important hands of the training of the people who are going to be involved in the pilot scale. And then the engineering support as a very important that in the unit we should have the knowledge about the design of the facility, and you should be able to sit with the engineer and tell what type of facility you require and what is your requirement and what end you are going to finally you are going to get from this. Next is construction of the facility. We need to oversee how it is going to be done, and whether all the characteristic features what you require has been imbibed in the construction or not. Coordination, scheduling, and direction of the ongoing operations, your engineering support is required. And of course, the finally important one is the validation of the facility. The next important one is the maintenance and calibration. It basically focuses on two. One is to ensure the data integrity and equipment reliability. That is very, very important. So the data integrity has been given a prime, it should be given in a prime importance, and the equipment reliability is also has to be frequently checked. So that is going to be very, very important in the whatsoever scale is a pilot scale or manufacturing scale, it is going to be very, very important. You must be knowing when you interact with the industrial friends, you can they also share with that. And in FDA inspections, they ask the HPLC chromatograms, which is recorded for a particular batch. So HPLC chromatograms, when you record, you say that this particular analysis has been done on so and so date, they will ask, where is it? So you should be able to give them. So there is no chance of creating or fudging with the data. And whatever data you are producing, that should be have the depend on the how equipment you are going to use. And again, to meet the current good manufacturing practices and FDA regulations. So where the maintenance and calibration are play a very important role, and where the focus will be given on that, the suggestions will be given on that, and the action plan is being prepared by the pilot scale department, and they will give to the manufacturing people. And the next important aspect is computerized amalgamation. So in the part of our development, we have involved a computer in all our lives. Yeah. Now I am sitting in front of my laptop and talking to you. I don't know your faces. I don't know whether what is the reaction, and I am talking to a machine. But I am imagining you're all there in front of me and talking. But anyway, the computerization made our lives are very, very easy. Automation made our lives are very, very, very easy. Gone are the days where you had to sit, go for a railway booking, stand in front of the queue, the counter for very long periods to book a ticket. Now, from your mobile, you will be able to book a ticket of your destination, including the airfare. That is advances. And gone are the days where if you want to transfer money, you should go to the bank and take a DD and post it and all that. That is my time when I was a student. Of late, when I try to send money to my son, I'll put in his account so that he get used from the ATM. But nowadays, it is much more easier than that. You have many UPI Beam portal or Phone Pay or Google Pay, whatsoever it is. From any corner of the world, you can send the money to anyone within a fraction of a minute. So all this is possible because of the technology, and which involve the computerization. And computer, you like or not, it has become an integral part of our life. Likewise, the computerization in the industry, pharma industry, has taken they have adopted very fast and make things which are going to be easier. And using the computerized thing, it is very easy to have the material control. And we need to know, we will know what is going to be the stock of the material instead of before going for a manual thing. And we'll come to know by click of a mouse where of how much is there, how much is not there, what is the current stock, and so on. And then we need to also go for inventory, whether what stock is available and how much you need to buy, all that. And orders, the orders. Anybody know what is F5 and F4? And of course, we also see the labeling requirements and all things can be automatically done. The F5 and F4 is the first in and first out, right? So therefore, the computerization is not a fashion. It is the more transparency and accuracy will be there, and with a quick response. So that is the thing where pharma industry has adopted this a long back. Slowly, or I should say slowly, it is coming to educational institutions and probably the state-owned universities like this. We have got the deadline from the state government and as well as central government. By end of this year, we need to perform all our activities only office automation. So with that, we don't require any attenders to carry the files. We don't require the huge cupboards or whatsoever for storing the applications or whatsoever it is going to be. Already ours is part of it totally automated. Our salaries are automated. Our examining system is automated, computerized, and all that. Now, the other activities are also going to be computerized soon, which all not only improves the transparency, but also efficiency. So as I said, pharma industry has taken it very quick and they are doing it excellent. And any teachers, we got the opportunity to visit and learn something youth is better. We can take a few days off, 1 or 2 days off, and go to a nearby pharma industry and see how these things are going to happen. Okay. And I'm sorry, I think power failure is there. But anyway, my laptop is fully charged. I'll try to complete it. So the process and manufacturing activities where this be focused on formulation process development studies. This already I explained to you. Clinical supply and manufacture, technology evaluation, both scaling up and the transfer. And then the next one is the most important ones are the quality assurance and quality control. The quality assurance is very, very important, and where all of you know different facets of manufacturing, the quality assurance plays a very important role. And I just pick up one to tell you amongst various functions of this, the most important one, in my opinion, is going to the maintaining and distributing facility and operating procedures. So the whole system of the quality of the product depends on these factors. Coming to the next one, quality control aspects of it, and where it is an in-process testing during development, whereas the scale up and the technology transfers. So the quality control of the finished product is going to be on par, or should say, to comply with all the regulatory requirements. Here, the quality control with respect to physical, chemical, microbiological, testing of the finished and final products. There is a spelling mistake here. And components required supplies. So these are all the parameters which are going to be established and given to the responsibilities of the pilot plants department. What are the specific requirements? What you are going to look? So the requirements of the pilot scale as well as scale up has been listed here. We require the personal requirement, equipment requirement, space requirement, process evaluation and preparation, master manufacturing procedure, and GST considerations. The same thing I'm talking to you one by one, like previous one, what I just said, personal requirements, each and every attribute I have, what are the things we need to focus on that. As I said to you, I may not go very detailed. I see that explanation in such a way that you will try to understand the particular aspect of it. Coming to the personal requirements, the persons are to be there where the teacher role is very important here. We need to tell to the students, if at all you want to go to the pilot scale, pilot department, the pharmaceutical industry, and what are going to be the expectations from you. So this will give the expectations from the personal requirement to suit in this department is a good theoretical knowledge of pharmaceutics, very important. And the theoretical background are going to be very important, and ability to communicate. I am very sorry to mention here, many of our students, even after doctorate level, ability to communicate both in writing as verbal are going to be below average compared to the other students. I am talking about the students in government universities and some of the organizations, even some private colleges. So this part of it has to be given a lot of emphasis, and that's why in most of the interviews, even though our students have got good knowledge, good attitude, they are not selecting because they don't have communication skills as expected, which are dominated by the students from Naipur, Manipal, Mysore, or whatsoever the top five-star colleges around. So, where keeping this in the mind, our university we organize for freshers a course for 3 days by the life skill course. So we also have the internal electives and external electives in the university, where English department is handling two offering two courses, and of course the credit will be there. Credits will be there, but that is not going to be added to the final one. But in the credit bank, the students' credit will be added to that. So our English department, is what do you call 2 credits thing, and 1 hour in a week, and in this thing. That each and every department offer an external elective for the other department people. One such is going to be ability to communicate. So it's very important. Next is knowledge of electronics and computers. So this particular thing has become very, very essential to any students or any graduates coming out of the university or the college. They should be having a sufficient knowledge and handling this. You cannot say that I don't know, I know very good pharmaceutics, but I don't know how to use the computer. No, you should know the at least the critical points what they are going to be used in these gadgets. And a little bit of engineering capability. You should know what is a dryer, you know what is unit operation, you should know what is a clean room, you should know what is going to be the class 1 area, class 2 area, something what is going to be very important into these things the students should not forget when they aspiring a job in personal I mean in the pilot plant or manufacturing area. And of course the most critical one is the practical experience in a pharmaceutical industry. Nowadays, all of you might will agree that the freshers are only filled in only some particular jobs, and only after getting an experience, and industries are reluctant to subject to correction. This is what the feedback I have got, and industries are don't want to spend a lot of time on training your fresh students. Those are graduated from the university, so are the colleges. So the students has to, if they have the skills and the attitude and ability, where the minimum training is enough, they are absorbing those candidates. Even though the gold medalist of a university may not suit some jobs in the industry if they require an intensive training. And that's what one of my friends shared some information. Some people, he is in industry, when he interviewed the candidate, they selected, they have only two or three posts in document writing, right? Clinical data writing. And the students, many of the students don't know, the four students, what they have selected about the training part of it. So he offered, an HR offered, yes, in the weekend, I will give a few, one or two, what I should say, PPT presentations based on this particular one. Please read all these things. And Sunday, you attend the examination, and those we score minimum 50%, we will take you. And what the students were telling, it seems, no, sir, you must give us the job first. Then we will take you. And that is what
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're visible, sir.
Okay, you're visible, no? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're visible, sir.
I'll continue. I'm sorry for the problems. This is what the problems, what I was talking to you in the morning, and we have been, even after well coping up, we have some issues like this. Fine. So, in continuation to that, and we were talking about the equipment requirements, where the equipment it's selected based on the processing characteristics of the product, and which are most economical, simple to use, and efficient. We need to have those things, and also the size should be relevant to the production of the batches, whatever you are going to. So, Shashi, now the thing is resumed. Can I start again
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. You can start, sir.
from the laptop?
Yes, sir. You can start, sir.
Okay. No, it is not stable. I'm not able to join again.
Sir,
Right.
sir.
Another few minutes. I will try to complete it and see that the best thing can be done. Right.
Okay, okay, sir.
So we were talking about the equipment requirement, facilities, the equipment, what is going to be. The equipment should be selected based on the processing characteristic features, as well as the economy, as well as the simple to use and efficient. And the size of should be relevant to the production or production size batches. That is very important. The easy cleaning and time of cleaning also should be selected as in a proper one. So the space requirements need to conform with the CGMP practices, and we should see that we have the space for administration and information processing, physical testing area, standard, uh, what I should say, standard pilot plant equipment floor place, storage area, separate for API and excipients used, and in-process materials, and controlled environment space for stability samples. So the next one is the process evaluation parameters should be given, of the emphasis should be given on what should be the critical parameters, critical process parameters that are going to be checked. So, for example, I have listed few parameters here, like such as mixing, for example. What should be the order of addition? What is going to be the mixing speed? What is going to be the mixing time? And what is the rate of addition? So, it is going to be very important task of the pilot plant department, where to define the minute detail and establish what should be the process attributes that need to be followed in the manufacturing. So the most important one is going to be the master manufacturing procedure. The master manufacturing procedure is something where the chemical weigh sheet has to be uh, established, and where identify the chemicals with the names, what is going to be slide number 34, and then I quantity, what should be the order of using. We need to that sheet has to be able to develop. We should be able to do it. And next thing is the sampling directions, what should be done first, how it is to be taken, and process specifications, and it should be an understandable language, a simple English or local language also will be able to do it. and what should be the specifications with respect to in-process and finished products, and of course, the proper documentation of the results. So these are all the some of the highlights where you require the pilot scale department as to propose. And then coming to the in brief about the GMP considerations, uh, where what should be the stages for the process validation, and what is the how regularly the process has to be reviewed and revalidated, and what is the uh, standard operating procedures written in a simple language, and what should be the equipment and its qualifying to use this, and what should be the maintenance thing which need to be done regularly to prevent the frequent shutdowns. So in addition to that, we also should develop the validated screening procedures and an orderly arrangement of equipment so as to ease the material flow and prevent cross contamination. So this is very important. The equipment, mixing equipment and drying equipment and punching, you need to identify the sequence of the process and how this process will be linked to the equipment which is already available, and see that that need to be proposed. A well-defined technology transfer, that is very, very important. So it cannot be at any point of stage in the manufacturing unit, people should not say, I don't know, I should ask the pilot people. No, we need to give a what do you call a well settled, well established document where whatever technology has been developed will be transferred directly and to the manufacturing unit. And this is the responsibility of the pilot scale department. And the use of the competent and technically qualified personnel, personnel has to be trained here, and where people cannot be directly put into the manufacturing unit. They'll just ask them to come to pilot scale and pilot department. They have the requisite training, and they will further go to the manufacturing area where it is going to be. So these are all the some of the important points, and I am very sorry for in between I lost the connection, and of course uh, I come back to the connection, but through mobile. I don't know how far it is effective. So these are all the some of the points what I just wanted to mention to you. Starting with, I summarize, starting with, I introduced to you about the various terminologies, what is going to be used, and what is going to be the requirements and expectations and objectives, and what I should say, the reasons and significance of what is going to be are going to be very important, and what is the special features in the pilot plant design, its operation, and the equipment. Now let me summarize, let me conclude my talk by giving this brief two lines summary. Right, it's a conclusion. I conclude my talk a thorough understanding of the integration of the scale factors, facility design, equipment design, and process performance is a very important stage necessary for scaling up and process transfer. Right? The supporting material I have taken from these references, mainly these references, and of course an internet some authorized and websites, where authentic websites. I have taken some information from that, and I thank one and all for your patient listening, and also thank the Chebrolo Haramaya Institute of Technology and Professor Vidyadhar and his team uh, for giving me this opportunity to interact with you. I hope whatsoever my objective of giving a basic introduction to you on the pilot plant is fulfilled. And if any queries are there, and you can just post it, or if at all I can answer, or I will refer, and you find out the answer and communicate back to you. Anyway, you are going to be for one more week. On this platform, I once again suggest all the young staff members here, the staff we are going to be use this type of platform to have a good interaction with the speakers, especially the industry people, also the eminent speakers. Like for example, in the morning we have spoken, we have listened to the people, and develop the personal rapport. Therefore, future, if any help or anything is required for you and for your college, for your students, we can always request them, and definitely uh, they will oblige and putting some students in their industry and getting some help from the industrial side. And even if you are very good, your organization, you can even go for MOUs also with them. And that was excellent platform being given to you. Right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your valuable session. And really, your suggestions will definitely follow, sir. Sir, a few two questions are there, sir, from the participant. So the first question is, sir, whether these bench studies are conducted during pilot scale-up studies or in lab scale R&D studies?
I didn't listen. I didn't get.
Sir, bench studies, whether these bench studies are conducted during scale-up studies or R&D level?
See, the bench studies are mainly use the terminology what we are going to use in the laboratory.
So
That
in
is
the
called
R&D level, sir.
the laboratory in the place of invention and the place of the first stage in the laboratory. So bench studies is a forms the basis for pilot scale, and I should say R&D probably. R&D is a bench scale, nothing but the bench scale. Then go to the pilot scale, then the manufacturing scale. So the bench studies are basically in R&D, and we don't do any procedures repeated and try new things in pilot or manufacturing, because whatsoever the parameters you have established in a pilot scale, which are feasible, which are going to be acceptable in the large, so only will go. We are not afford to use any trial and error method or anything in both, in especially the manufacturing scale.
Okay, sir. And one more question, sir. Sir, is the knowledge and training on good manufacturing practices really helpful for the people who want to work in the pilot plant manufacturing area? The knowledge and training on good manufacturing practices really helps the people who want to work in the pilot plant manufacturing area.
Shashidhar, can you repeat the question again? No, not able to hear. You're muted. You're muted. Unmute.
Sir, is the knowledge on and training on good manufacturing practices really helpful for the people who want to work in the pilot plant manufacturing area?
Yeah, you should have no doubt. The training what we give in the college is not sufficient. The training, we only give the theoretical aspects which are going to be forms the fundamental basis, and a candidate, aspiring candidate, should have a training in these things before what do you call expecting a job in such areas. That's why I said the last week, no, the qualified, the training, what I should say, experienced people are preferred here rather than the freshers. So after 2-3 years of experience, we can try in the pilot scale, and really it will be nice working there. It is going just looking like our R&D lab with larger quantities, have a lot of interaction, and it will be very nice. We can have a good scope for the students who are willing to do something different.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Any questions from the participants? You can post in the chat box, or we have unmuted all of you, or you can directly ask the questions. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Now we are concluding the session, sir. Sir, on behalf of our Table Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences, we are very much thankful for you, sir, for your sharing the knowledge on these pilot plant scale-up techniques, sir. Definitely, this session is very helpful to all the participants, and especially for the in pharma faculty who want to train the students in these industrial scale aspects. Definitely, sir. Definitely, this will be very helpful for all of the participants, sir. And very thankful on behalf of our college management, principal, and all the staff members, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your sparing the time with us, sir.
Thank you once again, and I wish all the participants a great days ahead. Please try to interact. It is very important. It is also a good, what I should say, think questions for us. We expect and we also use. So thank you very much once again. I am permitted to leave now, Shashi.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can leave, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you once again and all the best.
Sir, just a minute, sir. Sir, Vijayada sir is, I think, on the line, sir.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Professor Vidyadhar. How are you?
Sir, thank you for your first presentation.
Yeah. I hope it is reaching the audience well.
It went
I want to know the feedback of it. Please share the feedback.
Yeah, sure, sir. Sure,
Definitely, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We will meet once again, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you once again and all the best with the other and his team.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.